What I wanted to do was to try to understand meat better than anybody else in the world. Like that's really what I wanted to understand is what's the composition of meat. And so, if we talk about this room, we could talk about what all the materials in here are, the wood, where it came from, how the wood is put together, stuff like that. But when we get to meat, it's like, oh, meat's a mystery. It grows on an animal and then we harvest it, right? Well, it's not really a mystery. We can understand what meat is. The bicep that you have, we can put that under an MRI and we can understand exactly what's in it. So we can do that piece of meat, right? And what's fascinating to me is once you start to delve into what meat is, it's actually pretty simple. It's amino acids, it's lipids, it's trace minerals, it's vitamins, it's water, just like your body, just like my body. That's no coincidence because we all evolved from the same origin of life. And so what I started to do was try to find scientists that were willing to go down that rabbit hole with me, willing to really dive in and say, what constitutes a piece of meat in terms of composition? And then where's the animal getting that from and where else can you get it from? Well, it turns out that we can get it from the same place. What the animal does, think about a cow. They're consuming a large amount of vegetation and they're drinking a lot of water. They use a digestive system in their muscular tract to build muscle for work. They work with their muscles. We then harvest that as a piece of meat. So they've used a biological system to organize external materials into the form of meat. Well, we can use a technological system to do the same thing, starting with the same inputs, with plant material and with water. So if you take our product and you do an MRI of it, and you take a piece of meat that's been harvested from an animal, you do an MRI with, there are differences, but they're slowly collapsing and we're getting them closer and closer and closer. That's what I wanted to do, more so than just say, hey, I'm going to try to get something that kind of fakes people out and thinks it's right? And so the question or the request I have of consumers is take a step back for a minute and think about meat, not in terms of its origin. Not meat has to come from chicken, cow, or pig, which we've all been taught, but think about meat in terms of composition, protein, fat, water. If I can deliver that composition to you in the same form and I can satiate your body and deliver the nutrients in the same form, who's to say that's not meat? I've got a phone in my pocket here, right? It doesn't look like the landline, but I'm not walking around saying, hold on, Tony, I got to get my fake phone. Let me grab my fake phone and answer it, right?
Yeah.
It's just a better version,
Yeah.
right? We have to get people to think about plant-based meat in that way, right? And if you start thinking about it that way, you don't have to denigrate animal protein. That's a bad idea, right? We evolved eating meat, did a lot for us, changed our bodies, made our brains big, our stomachs small. There's all these things that we benefited from meat. But isn't it the quintessential American thing to take something that's good and make it better? That's all we're trying to do.